Ever wonder how your favorite fruits make it from the Moroccan sun to your table with perfect timing? Today, we're following a major seasonal transition in the produce world. As the iconic Nadorcott citrus season winds down, a new giant is emerging from the Zagora region. But the story doesn't stop at fruit. Stay tuned as we reveal the logistics powerhouse behind this journey and their bold plan to bridge continents. This is the future of fresh. Let's dive in.
Welcome to The Explainer. Let's jump right into it. Today, we're stepping straight out of the sun-drenched fields and right into the highly calibrated, kind of crazy world of global logistics. We're going to break down that invisible, massive system that somehow gets fresh produce from international agricultural hubs directly onto your local supermarket shelves without missing a single beat. To do this, we're analyzing the operations of Crown Fields. They're a massive importer specializing in Moroccan fruit and vegetables. We'll see exactly how these international fruit exports are managed, perfectly timed, and ultimately delivered. Let's get started.
So, take a look at this. Beautiful, right? That is the Moroccan Nadorcott mandarin, captured right on the branch. But don't let the peaceful farm vibes fool you, because this represents a highly time-sensitive reality. We're actually in the critical, absolutely fast-paced final week of the Moroccan citrus season for this specific fruit. Just look at that premium finish, the vibrant color. It's literally the peak of agricultural output right before availability drops off a cliff. The clock is ticking on this harvest, and the supply chain, well, it has to move with incredible speed to capture this window.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because in the world of large-scale agriculture, a closing window always means an opening door somewhere else. Right as those boxed Nadorcotts are rushing through their final days of transport, a completely new season is already kicking off. Enter the Moroccan watermelons. Crown Fields is transitioning its massive infrastructure right now to focus heavily on the Dumara variety. It's this relentless, dynamic handoff of the agricultural calendar. It literally never stops. The citrus season wraps up, and boom, the machinery just pivots to a brand new, heavy-hitting crop.
And to really ground this in reality, we have Ismail Jabri from Crown Fields pointing out that the very first volumes of this new season are already showing a fantastic trend in quality. He specifically calls out the Zagora region in Morocco as the origin. Now, if you follow international fruit exports, you already know Zagora's climate is basically perfect for yielding high-quality watermelons super early in the season. It's a huge green light for the months ahead, and a really perfect example of how hyper-local soil conditions absolutely dictate what hits the global market.
Now, watermelons and tangerines definitely show us the shifting tides of the changing seasons. But if you want to truly understand an importer's operations, you have to look at their anchor. I mean, every major logistics network relies on a core, high-volume product just to maintain their sheer scale. For Crown Fields, their absolute crown jewel isn't even a fruit. It's this massive, consistent output of sweet point peppers.
Check out these deep red, perfectly uniform sweet point peppers packed tight and ready to ship. Sure, they have a really wide portfolio, citrus, grapes, mixed veg, you name it. But these peppers? These are the heavy lifters of the entire supply chain. Try to imagine the absolute sheer volume required to consistently supply markets all across Europe. These boxes aren't just vegetables. They are the foundational product that justifies and literally sustains the whole massive international logistics network.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that looks like across the calendar year. See that sharp upward curve starting in October? That massive spike is the kickoff for the sweet point pepper season. According to Crown Fields, this launches the absolute busiest operational period of their entire year. They're handling enormous volumes just to serve a super loyal customer base. It's exactly this kind of reliable, year-round scale that locks in their position with major retail partners.
So let's move on and see how this builds into the physical infrastructure, right? The invisible machinery moving all this food. It all starts at the source with the Moroccan grower network, but the central nervous system? That's based in the Netherlands, specifically Rotterdam. From there, the product flows straight into two strategic, highly dedicated logistics hubs located in Venlo and Ridderkerk. And this is not random at all. These spots are precisely chosen because they sit basically right on top of the most critical fruit intersections in all of Europe.
And the whole point of this strategic positioning? Rapid, uninterrupted distribution to their main buyers. Operating out of Venlo and Ridderkerk puts Crown Fields in the absolute perfect spot to target the DACH region, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, along with the Netherlands. The focus here is intensely on keeping wholesalers and distribution partners fully stocked 24/7. They can guarantee this consistent output simply because their sales channels are completely established and physically positioned for maximum efficiency.
So what does this massive logistical web actually mean for the final step of the journey? Well, it gives you pristine, boxed, and branded products ready for the supermarket shelf. When you look at these meticulously packed boxes of Moroccan citrus, you're looking at the finish line of that entire crazy journey. From the soil in Zagora, through the busy ports of Rotterdam, dispatch from Venlo, right to the consumer. The transition from raw agricultural commodity to a retail-ready product is just incredibly seamless. Now, pulling off this kind of scale and consistency across multiple borders, that doesn't just happen by accident. You really have to get your hands dirty. Crown Fields makes a very deliberate choice here. Right now, all their products are sourced from Morocco through super close cooperation with a firmly established group of growers. They aren't just blindly buying on an open market, they call it harvest integration. They're actively managing the exact product specs and the technical quality directly from the soil, all the way to the final box. So the crucial point is, how do you actually guarantee that quality legally and ethically across thousands of miles to these incredibly strict European buyers? The answer is uncompromising certifications. It's totally not enough for the fruit to just look nice. It has to pass rigorous standards. We're talking strict compliance with GlobalGAP, GRASP for social practices, SMETA for ethical auditing, and SPRING for sustainable water management. These badges are literally the passports that let these products enter and actually thrive in a highly regulated European market.
Let's just pause on one of those for a second to really grasp the impact. GlobalGAP is basically the gold standard here. It's an internationally recognized certification guaranteeing the food was grown using safe, truly sustainable agricultural practices. But honestly, the biggest thing is farm-level traceability. Think about that. If you pick up a sweet point pepper in a grocery store in Germany, this system can trace it all the way back to the exact plot of land and the specific farming practices used in Morocco. It's all about total, uncompromising transparency.
Now, currently, Crown Fields completely relies on this robust Moroccan network for their stable supply, but their long-term strategy, they are actively looking way over the horizon. While Morocco is the foundation, they are right now expanding their sourcing straight into Latin America, specifically looking at Costa Rica and Chile. This is a massive, massive leap from regional to truly global sourcing, perfectly designed to stretch their existing logistics network all the way across the Atlantic.
And why make a huge leap like that? Simple, to meet comprehensive customer needs. By pushing into Latin America, they're aggressively targeting exotic fruits that you just can't source in those same massive volumes or during the right seasons from their current North African base. The big targets for the future? Bananas, pineapples, and mangoes. This whole expansion strategy is hyper-focused on providing a continuous 365-day supply of exotics. They want to ensure their wholesale and retail partners literally never have an empty shelf, no matter what season it is back in Morocco.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to end on today. We traced this incredible journey, right? From the final ticking clock of the Nadorcott season, over to the massive logistics hubs in the Netherlands, and looking ahead to future expansions in Costa Rica. It really makes you realize that the fresh produce aisle isn't just some static display. It is the final stop of a relentless, constantly moving global machine. So next time you pick up a perfectly ripe piece of fruit, maybe ask yourself, how will this invisible global network behind your local supermarket continue to evolve to bring the world's seasons directly to your table? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your curiosity fresh.
Welcome to the debate. We usually think of global supply chains like a USB drive. You know, you just plug your corporate standards into a new country, download the product, and scale up.
Right, but what happens when that hardware is a living, breathing ecosystem?
Exactly. So today, we are dissecting the scalability of highly centralized, heavily certified agricultural import models. And our case study is Crown Fields.
Yeah, they're currently transitioning from the closing Moroccan Nadorcott citrus season to a new Moroccan watermelon harvest. And, all while planning this massive fruit exports expansion into Latin America.
Right. And I argue their strict Dutch logistics model guarantees global scalability. Joining me to present the opposing view is agronomy engineer Fouad Amlal, who argues that cross-continental farming presents biological bottlenecks you simply can't audit away.
I mean, you just can't command a rainforest to act like a desert.
Well, let's look at the engine of Crown Fields' success. They pull produce into Rotterdam, then push it through distribution hubs in Venlo and Ridderkerk, straight to the DAC and Dutch markets. It is the ultimate model for volume and continuity. Especially with their core crop, sweet point peppers. They use a system called harvest integration.
Right, but that system...
Wait, just to finish this point. They aren't just buying peppers at a market. They are sitting in an office in Rotterdam, dictating the exact seed variety, monitoring the soil pH, and timing the harvest down to the day. If you control the variables that tightly, you can replicate the process anywhere in the world.
But you aren't actually controlling the variables. You are just optimizing for a very specific environment. Like Crownfields dominates the Moroccan pipeline. Absolutely.
Right, which proves the model.
But any agronomy engineer will tell you that a blueprint thriving in the arid Mediterranean climate of North Africa becomes a straitjacket in the tropics. You cannot seamlessly translate local Moroccan success to a global scale just because your logistics hub is efficient.
Okay, then how do you explain the Dumara watermelon harvest happening right now? Crownfields is pulling exceptional quality from the Zagora region.
Well, that is because
To me, that proves the model. You dictate the technical specifications, pick a hardy variety, apply the agronomic science, and the soil delivers the result.
no, that early premium harvest isn't a triumph of standard corporate oversight. It is a microclimate lottery. The Zagora region has a highly specific temperature profile that aligns perfectly with the Dumara genetics.
But they chose that region for a reason.
Sure, but you get that exceptional flesh quality because the local agronomy and the plant are in perfect sync, not because the central office mandated it.
But that exact localized success is what gives them the confidence to scale. If you can master the soil in Zagora and you already have the Rotterdam distribution pipeline built, you can apply that same oversight elsewhere.
No, you really can't.
I mean, think about Costa Rica or Chile for bananas, pineapples, and mangoes. The strict European certifications ensure the quality remains identical no matter where it is grown.
This is exactly where your USB drive metaphor completely breaks down. You cannot just plug a European certification into Chilean soil. Take the Spring certification for sustainable water management.
Okay, spring.
Right. So in arid Morocco, you can hit those Dutch audit metrics by mastering drip irrigation. But transplant that exact same standard to the humid tropical ecosystems of Costa Rica, the agronomy clashes violently with a biological reality.
Because of the rain.
Exactly. The farmers end up fighting their own rainforests. They are battling entirely different water tables and new pest pressures just to pass an audit written for a different hemisphere.
Well, that friction is exactly why the centralized hub is so critical. I mean, the environment might fight back, but the certification acts as an absolute filter.
A filter that excludes perfectly good farmers.
Only the produce that survives that stringent standard makes it to the European shelves. It forces consistency.
Forcing consistency doesn't mean you have scaled agricultural production, though. It just means you have artificially narrowed your viable sourcing pool.
I don't see that as a bad thing.
You end up with farmers spending more resources managing the certification than actually managing the crop. Look, we both know their Moroccan fruit and pepper pipeline is incredibly reliable. That localized mastery is a fact.
Yes, absolutely.
But you can't audit your way out of biology.
I would argue biology is exactly what modern agriculture is designed to manage. Scaling those strict agronomic certifications is what turns unpredictable harvests into a reliable 365-day-a-year global supermarket.
And my reality on the ground just shows those same certifications creating massive localized bottlenecks. It makes true global scalability incredibly difficult.
Well, it seems we have hit the bedrock of our disagreement. On one side, the undeniable success of Crownfields in engineering a hyper-reliable pipeline for Moroccan produce.
And on the other, the immense agronomic friction of forcing diverse Latin American ecosystems to conform to strict European standards.
Right. The debate really comes down to whether centralized oversight can tame global agriculture or if nature eventually dictates the limits of our supply chains.
Exactly.
We will leave you to ponder the hidden biological complexities behind the year-round availability of your favorite fruits. Thank you for joining us.